connection. Okay, I'm gonna kick it while it's good. Go live. Okay, good evening, folks. Jitsi finally told me I've got an excellent connection for the first time after rebooting it several. I finally ended up learning how to not record all of my fumbling around. And now it looks like we've successfully started the show seamlessly. So I am going to give it a moment just to make sure, and then I'm going to open up the live at the bench thread on the Stunt Hangar control line forums. Looks like we got 6 viewers watching already. Somebody give me a hi y'all over there in the YouTube chat. Chat box is in its usual place. The block $sign for the super chat is over there. And if you're so inclined to give us a couple of nickels there, that's for Sparky and all of his equipment and time and server fees and gosh, whatever else it takes to keep Stunt Hangar up and going, broadcasting from the Nats, Brodak, Huntersville, all of these places that he goes. Yeah, and so if you're so inclined, we appreciate that. And hello again, Jack Snevely, people in Stuntland. How's it looking from your end? You able to see me talking and moving around over there? I'm going to go ahead and pause my little preview screens because that's just eating up bandwidth. And I'm going to go to Jitsi Meet. And now it's all set to what the YouTubers should be seeing when they're watching us. I've got it set for y'all to follow the picture that I put on my screen. So anyway, here we are. Man, that deserves a shot of coffee. Oh, I think I did stop something that I forgot to. I might not have done it seamlessly. Maybe I did. Okay. We are streaming. Yes. Okay, so the only bumbling that I did tonight was self-induced. So yeah, we're good. All right. Now the at the bench thread will be popping up in just a second. Start a new topic, Stunt Hangar post, and boom, it magically appears. Okay, so the post, the link to get into the video is now on Stunt Hangar at the bench. And Gary Sinclair says, yeah, we're with you. So good to hear everybody. Finally getting this figured out. I don't know, that doesn't mean I know what the heck I'm doing, but it means I'm learning how to dust over my tracks while I'm making a mess, getting it started. So anyway, so all is well in Rusty Land. I hope the same is true of all in Stunt Hangarville, and y'all can come and regale me with some stories of building or flying, or what do you think of our new software? Other than there's a lot to like, other than the glitchy stuff that we're having at the beginning of the shows. And anytime you start a new system, you just look out for stuff like that. I know that, and I've been working with computers long enough. But what do and don't you like about our new format for the video hat, this Jitsi thing that Sparky found? It appears to be going pretty good for me. You know, like I said, it's got clear video, very little feedback. It's got good pictures when you screen share. I don't know what's not to like. Does anybody? Oh boy, might have to hit the Tylenol bottle soon here. I think I got me a neck ache coming on. That's the computer hunch neck ache. And Gary, got the camera all set. We are. Oops, of course I dropped it on the floor. The August issue came out, and left came out with 100 degrees, and left with about 95 degrees. Well, I can't pick it up right now, but we don't need that one. And I'll wait till everybody comes in to introduce the next one. Jack Snavely says, yeah, you look good, not high def, but good enough. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. I think I default to high def, and whether or not it's broadcasting high def or not, I don't know. But let me click on this, and it says connection good. Yeah, it doesn't say optimal. It doesn't say non-optimal. Oh, it's got a show more button too. Let's see what that tells us. Okay. Yeah, tells us a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to read. Gary, you still working on airplanes and building anything in your workshop? Hadn't heard anything about it lately, and I know that that calendar project was a pretty neat little thing. But I know that was a print shop. It's good Gary says it's good. At least we can still get out together and share. Yeah, yeah, that's the main part. Yeah, if you can get out there and have fun and be with your friends, then that's what it's all about. We kind of talked about that last night. We got to bickering a little, not with each other, but just in general, bickering at how people get a little selfish sometimes at some of the contests, and you just don't run into that too much in our hobby, and it's probably less than you'll see it in any other hobby. Sure, in fishing we always fib about how big our fish are and that kind of stuff, but not keeping secrets, trade secrets, so to speak, on how you do things, and once in a while it rears its ugly head in our sport, and I hate to see that when it does. It's usually over something like, I don't know, judging or something like that. Yeah, it's a good time to check the Stunt Hangar post and make sure it is being, and yeah, it is actually being read. Let me back up one little bit, see how many times it's been read. At the bench, Stunthangar chat. Now we just got a couple of views so far. Somebody's been there to click in or at least see what it's all about. And double check and make sure my sound was up. It is. Well, I'm sorry we got a slow opener tonight for you, but yeah, some nights are like that, and then some of the slowest openers pick right up, and that's part of my problem not getting out into the field in the shop so much, as I don't come with a lot to talk about since I've been kind of down, but hey, I'm getting kind of up now, so I look forward to getting back out there. I got a lot to offer and a lot to talk about when I'm active, and I've just had a little trouble getting active, but hey, we'll be here. We've got some guests that it would be awful if they didn't show up. They bring a lot to the show, talking about things and something different every night. Well, I'm gonna do what Sparky does. I'm just gonna sit here and chill out until somebody pops in. I don't think it's a good idea to talk so much when I don't really have anything to say. And when I do edit this thing tomorrow morning, um, I'll go through it. And if we've got a part at the beginning like this where nobody's talking, it's just dead air, then I can edit that out. It's very easy to do. Um, but it takes all day to process. So you still get to watch the original video with all of the dead air in it until it finishes processing, probably because there's about 50, 1,100 people like me who are editing out the dead air parts of their videos too. So I'm a trooper. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I've actually been told that. And the doctors keep telling me I'm tough. So I appreciate that too. I'm not pushing it quite as hard as I used to, though. I think I'm running on reserve energy, reserve tanks right now. Don't want to push it too much. Might run out of gas at an inopportune moment. Oh, this isn't a terrible fashion statement. I'm wearing the same pink striped shirt I wore the other night on Friday night, and it's not the same T-shirt. I got my Cox Engine Forums T-shirt on tonight. Oh, it's a Cox Engine powered T-shirt, so that's pretty cool. This one's getting, I think it's a hole right there. Yeah, that's a big old hole. I better get me a new one of these. Hey, Tom, how you doing? T-Bone Tom just came in. Okay, Tom says, I'll be back in Friday to talk some vintage combat. Excellent. I love talking combat. It is so cool for people to talk about such a wild, fun sport. So vintage combat, is that where y'all fly things like that Super Satan and all of those eclectic old planes like that? The ones that take you forever to build and you don't want to wreck? Or do y'all have something where you um, can fly in the vintage class, but you can also take 12 planes to the contest and leave it in the trash can when you leave? Is there such a thing? I imagine that something evolved from the need for that, because seems kind of a shame to throw all of your stuff minus the engine and the tanks and hardware into a trash can. Um, just out of a combat match. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. Somebody's going to get torn up. And I know Sam Lonke's resurrected a few of them out of trash cans and gotten pretty good planes he could play with. Some of them he could actually fly pretty well. But is that what? Let's see. What did you say? You'd be back. It's some vintage combat. Yeah. So y'all will be flying stuff like they flew into. What is vintage combat? Is that stuff like from the 60s and 50s? When did combat? Tell us when combat got started, or jot that down on your list of things to tell us when you come back Friday. And here comes a fellow jitser. Right now his name is me. So, oh, he disconnected. Don't know who that was, but let me tell you, before, if you want to click in and come in with us, then first thing to do is go down to the bottom right and hover on the screen, and 3 dots will pop up. Oh, is that Jeff?
This is Gerald here.
Oh, hey, Gerald. Was that you just a second ago coming in on an unknown device?
I've got a new cell phone and I just loaded Jitsi onto it, so I'm not sure if I came in, but it told me to load the app, so I loaded the app.
Yeah, it was. I can tell now it was you because it doesn't know your name.
Yeah, I've got to put my name on the device, so I'll try and do that now. Not sure how to do it.
The 3 dots hover down in the right-hand lower corner of the Jitsi video screen, and the list will come up, and you click on the 3 dots. The list will come up, and up at the top where it says me, click on that, and that's where you can tell it what your name is.
Add meeting password. Yeah, different to the PC version.
Mine popped up. Set your at the top now it says settings. A box popped up that said settings, profile, calendar, and more. And do you see that? It's under the profile tab. If that box popped up.
I'll try that one. Yeah, I found it's a different box on my phone. Enter your name, so I'll put that there now. Hopefully that's done the job. Now it's brought up chat. But that still hasn't shown my name, has it? Keep trying, eh? How are you, Rusty?
I'm all right. Not like I was the other night, but yeah, I gotta go see the doc tomorrow, so hopefully I get some good information there, and so we're as good as we're gonna get for a while right now. Just slow poking as usual. Looks like you got a pretty good picture whenever I can get light on your face. Right now, you're just a black profile, and right now you're bright. Now you're black again. I see your window behind you when you go black. Dennis, hey, buddy. Can you hear me okay, Dennis? Dennis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Good. Well, I can hear you too, so we're in good shape. I've been on the verge of PMing you just
Hang on a second. I got some. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep, still hear you.
All righty. I had the YouTube going in the background, so you were coming through loud and clear in about 4 different ways. So.
Yeah, that happens. I'm finally learning not to do it to myself, but
yeah.
anyway,
well, I haven't been here forever. I thought I'd check in and see how you guys are doing. Hello, Gerald.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time. We've missed you. Actually, you're one of our
your luck ran out tonight.
Yeah.
So your luck ran out tonight. So
what you got, Doritos or something?
I wish I could say I've been out busy doing lots of airplane stuff, but I haven't. So me and Mama San been finishing off the summer. I've had a couple of little short trips and whatever. Had a day today with the grandkids and whatever else. So life goes on.
How old are you?
I've only been to one contest here. So the grandkids today, we had the 11-year-old, the 9-year-old, and the 3-year-old. So took them up to the lake, and my in-laws have a lake cottage. We took them up there and just spent the day with them. So
did you catch fish? No,
we didn't go fishing. The girls liked just playing in the lake and stuff. My grandson, the great, he wanted to throw a football around as much as anything else. So anyhow, so how you been doing? How goes the recovery?
Up and down, just like usual. I get up and talk a big story about how great I'm coming back, and then something happens to me and puts me back down, and on and on and on with the same old saga.
Well, I hope you can get enough pluses to overcome the minuses there. Get you back in the circle. So
yeah, it's a little precarious right now, dealing with an infection, but hopefully we're gonna see about that tomorrow. That is also very scary too. So we'll see. I'm not going to make any forecasts on, like I've done before, on what could or couldn't happen. So anyway, I'm able to walk around, still. That's a hell of an improvement from a lot of this time in the past. I couldn't even do that. So I'll be thankful for what I got.
Well, it's about all we can do. So I did earlier this week. I was just meandering around through YouTube videos and stuff, and I came across one of you with a little Satan with an RR1 on it
in the churchyard. Yeah,
I got a kick out of that. I have never seen an RR1 run in person, and now I've seen yours run, at least on video and stuff like that.
It's
loud. Really, did those really perform?
It was loud and right on song. Yeah, it was a beautiful running little engine. A guy that calls himself Mud Hen out in California, from Cox Engine Forums, gave me that. And that was one of those things where I inadvertently said, wow, I wish I had one of those, and I've got to stop learning to not say stuff like that. But one showed up in the mail one day, and he's an expert engine builder and refitter, and so we put one together out of his hell box and sent it to me. I bolted it on the little Satan, and I'm trying to remember if that was the only plane I ever flew it on, actually. And yeah, that was good, man. It balanced out perfectly with that engine too, and it was almost as powerful as a TD, if not as powerful. It sure was loud. It was a real loud little engine. And I actually had a muffler on that one. You're not supposed to run mufflers on it because it had SPI, but they were having choir practice some Thursdays, and that was a Thursday, I think, when I ran it. So I put that little wraparound muffler on it, and it still flew like a bat out of hell. I'm glad you found that. That's one of my most watched videos, I think. Back in the day, when the church-wide yard was all I knew, before I found clubs and friends and contests, that's where my control line life was spent and lived. So yeah, that's where I learned to fly loops, and I bought a little jumping bean for the purpose of learning to fly loops, and that was one from that era. The little Satan. That was the first plane I ever scratch built too.
Really? Okay. Very good. I had a little Satan, and the thing just absolutely amazed me at how I just had a Golden Bee on mine, short lines, and it amazed me at how well it flew. I mean, it was hot. It was really, really hot to fly. It was fun.
Yeah. I've never experimented with doing anything to the stab, either lengthening it or making the booms longer or shorter. It flies fine just like it is, except my only complaint is the loops are kind of big. It doesn't make really big tight, really little tight loops.
Yeah, I wish the wing was just a little bit bigger. I think that would help. You know, the engines are so powerful now and stuff. It's only about I want to say 80 or 100 square inch wing or so. I think if it was around 150 or so, I think it would probably fly rings around a combat kitten or anything like that. But
I've got to answer a text from Sparky right now. He can't get in because of a password problem. Go to my text chat here, and there is no password.
It's so Sparky can't get in. That could be kind of convenient, huh? Well, I don't know.
I like for the boss to be able to come in.
I shouldn't pick on Sparky like that. Uh-oh. Looks like he's there.
Hi, Sparky.
Hey, Spark. How you doing?
Okay, you made it. Good. I don't have to keep typing this post. Yeah, there you are. What'd you figure out, Sparky? I didn't set a password.
Well, it just said it needed a password.
It could have been me trying to put my name on. I don't know. I was trying to twiddle the settings on my. I've got a new cell phone, and it has different buttons to the old cell phone and different buttons to the PC. So I was mucking around with it, trying to get my name in there.
Turn the phone sideways. There you go.
Oh. Charles Carter's asking the same question. What is the password on Jitsi? There is no password. I don't. What did you do to get in after it asked you?
I just went back and tried opened another window. I clicked it again and it let me in.
Okay. Yeah, hey Charles. You can obviously hear me. Yeah, just close that window and open a new Jitsi Meet window and see if it'll let you in. That's what Sparky did. He got the same thing. And about 5 minutes before Sparky tried it, I got a little pop-up message that said a fellow Jitsi member set a password. So don't know how that happened, but there's Charles.
Hey, Charles, you're almost there.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We good.
Real good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Dennis, as long as I got you on here, I want you to look inside here. This, Rusty, present it to everybody because I'm looking at Charles.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'll get you right up. There you go.
Okay. What I did was I took a piece of that fiber board, that G10 or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the phenolic board. Yeah, that's
right.
Good stuff. Yeah.
And it's 1/8 inch thick, and I made a round circle. Then I've end grained balsa wood between that. Then I epoxied that to this, to the metal nose ring, and then let's see if we can look inside there. Then I put a balsa wood end grain on the backside. Then I super filled all that in there. You think that should hold it up, that motor in there, right?
It should. The hardest thing to do it with the phenolic is that it's so hard. It doesn't, the glue doesn't like penetrate it or anything. Were you able to like sand it or anything like that before you glued it in?
Oh yeah, I sanded it.
Yeah, if you like, I think if you just take the shine off it, so the epoxy's got a little bit to grab to, I think that's all it would take.
I put 80 grit scratches in it.
Yeah, and then the other thing looks like the way that's molded and everything like that. It looks like really all you're trying to do is spread the load into the nose cone like that, and I don't know. It looks like you've done a hell of a job with that. So.
Well, this was an IC, Yatchenko, and I changed it over for Jerry. I cut the motor mounts out of it because I could not work inside there with those mounts in there.
Right.
And I just want to, I don't think I need any more load-bearing plywood stringers back to the back, do I? I mean,
I wouldn't think so.
this is all fiberglass, and this metal piece, this is metal up here, aluminum.
Hmm. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, because he flew this at FCM, and the motor kept flying out of it.
That'll wreck your day.
Yeah,
That was in that airplane?
Yeah, this airplane here.
that
Wow.
can wreck somebody else's day too.
Mm.
Well, it just came loose. It didn't come out of the
Didn't
airplane.
fly away. Good.
It killed the engine, killed the motor right away. So the only thing I got left to repair for him is this hole here. I'm gonna take some plywood inside, back it up, and then superfill all this, and then put a coat of glass over it, and then cut the switch hole and the arming plug hole. This is where the exhaust came out before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, John Skukalek's got a question when you get through, Sparky.
Okay.
He says, this may be a good question for Dennis. I love IC engines in my control line stunners, but I'm thinking that the electric might open the door to more cold weather flying when the winter comes. Any suggestions on that, on starting up with that?
The biggest problem you'll have in the cold weather is that the batteries start losing their capacity in the cold. So you might have to limit yourself to shorter flights or something like that. The batteries come back, but they actually like to be a little bit warm.
Yeah.
So one thing you can do is if you have any air going to the battery, try to block it. Try to seal the battery in, and that will help it. That'll help it maintain a little bit of heat. I have not done this myself, but I've read where other folks have done things like they've had like a car charger or something like that. They've topped off their batteries like at the field and then immediately take it out to the airplane while it's still a little warm from charging. Or you can take it out and put it in charge it up and put it in like a styrofoam cooler, obviously not to keep it cool, but just to insulate it a little bit to actually hold a little warmth in it.
You remember back in the day when people had water beds, they used to make rubber mats that you could, if you've got 120 volt power, you could plug in and keep them wrapped in that. And those got hotter than you might want, but they were adjustable. Just got a thermostat on it. So that might be a good thing to do it with.
Yeah, that would be about it. But I think you're right in a lot of other ways. It's the fact that it's easy to start and everything like that certainly is a good thing. And you don't spend a lot of time going flippity flip, getting your hands all cold and stuff. And when it's done, you can immediately put things away and camp out in your car a little bit to warm back up before you go out again. The other wild card, if you are lucky, you mentioned flying by a church or something like that. There are people flying indoors, and you can do that with electric real easy. So I don't know. It's not. We had the Fort Wayne area club here. We had an RC club. We have an RC club that used to fly in a golf dome, basically an indoor practice range for golfers to use in the wintertime. Basically, it looks like a great big inflatable Quonset hut. It was like, I want to say something like 75 feet tall in the middle, half round. And you could easily fly it like a half A size, 50 something on 50-foot lines on there. They used it for flying radio, and it was perfect for that. But if you can make arrangements with that, great. But the other options, of course, a lot of the guys have been in Europe, especially. Igor Berger has posted some videos of the little foamy airplanes flying in basically basketball courts and stuff like that.
I have seen those. They're just almost just floating on the air in there when he's flying those little things. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and they seem to perform pretty well. but you know, just about any high school or church auditorium becomes a flying site with that. So that's the other. Of course, that's a lot less cold in the bones than flying full-size airplanes outdoors in winter. But
Yeah.
Yeah, around here they fly at a skating rink.
at the skating rink,
Yeah, during the day. They have certain
okay.
days and they're always doing something there, cleaning, whatever, and the guys go in and fly on the skating rink.
Okay.
Hey, I got something. Let me back up to earlier in the show before everybody got here. It is since our last show, the 1st of September has come to pass, and so our picture on the calendar. Do y'all have that big, or do I need to make it big?
It's big.
I see it.
The picture on my calendar is August. That was submitted by Steve and Ruben McBride, and it is no longer August, so throw August away. Whoa, it came back. It's a boomerang. And
I
now
don't
we
know.
got Line Dancer by John Jordan. And here we go. If I can get it in front of the camera. There we go.
Yeah,
We got good focus on that.
Yeah.
not too good.
Okay. So that's the new month. Thank you, Gary Sinclair, for making the calendar for us. And
Okay.
Hey Dennis, I got a question for you. You got
Yeah.
any electric conversions that does the side mount battery?
Or you mean on a profile? What do you mean?
No, on a full fuse.
Oh, on a full fuse? I have been trying to transition into those. So the one for the Blue Angel, the one for the the little John Miller airplane you and I have talked about.
Oh yeah, little
I can't think of it.
Ellie.
Yeah, Miss L
Oh,
or
Miss
Little
Ellie.
L. Little L. Yeah. That's side mount. The Blue Angel's a side mount, and let's see. I'm working on one for the United right now. That'll be a side mount. But I've been trying to work into those because I like the security on the battery, and not always easy to do, you know. But I like it. I tried. I could not make one work. I did just finished up a Viking, you know, the old time design, and I could not make that work with a side mount battery.
Okay.
So that ended up back with a top mount. But but yeah, those come to mind. Now let me turn it around on you. What do you got in mind? Well, what the heck? The one I did for you was a side mount.
Yeah, that was I know that was a one-off,
Hmm.
and that's way too long. I guess I could somehow try to cut it back.
Hmm.
You know, it was a lot taller. This is for a USA Ama or a stunt machine.
Yeah.
And it's a lot narrower because there's no pipe, none of that.
Hmm.
So it's a lot smaller of a fuselage.
Okay.
But
The
the blue
length wouldn't be a lot different. It would be shorter, but it's not a lot shorter, is it?
1 inch.
Okay. You could accommodate that, couldn't you? Or couldn't, or won't it work?
I might be able to like cut off part of the back and just move the back plate in a little bit.
You might be able to cut off the front and move the door forward a little bit.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
other thing I guess I've discovered, and I really discovered this on the little L was, you know, I figured what the battery's about 4¼ inches long and needed a door about 4¼ inches, but that's not true. You can get the battery inside, and if the battery compartment is longer than the door, you can kind of sneak it in and wiggle it around and get it in like a 3½ inch door for a 4¼ inch battery.
Yeah.
So
And I like a
you
little
can
bit
get,
in the box in there, you know, being longer. You can move it in and only have one strap, you know, because it's not going to come out through the wall.
I think I told you I stopped using straps and I started using the EPP styrofoam that expand or collapsible styrofoam. It actually feels kind of like foam rubber, but it's made out of polyurethane,
Okay.
and it's a got a little expansion to it, so you basically make it just a hair oversized and squeeze it in there, and it's like secure to the battery.
Oh, okay.
You got any other extra pieces of it? You can even put one like in front or in back, and to keep the battery in the right position for CG and everything like that. So.
Oh, okay.
So anyhow, so one more question to you. Do you and Sam go to Tulsa?
No.
All right, that's too bad. You had mentioned that she might not go, but I was hoping she'd change your mind.
No. You know, it's like yesterday when I told her who won, she started laughing. And she said that's who they wanted to go to the World Championship when they gave him the junior at the Nats. You know, and she's like, yeah, you know, I know I could beat him or whatever, but in just what was said, she said, you know, but if she can get the time off and stuff like that, then depends on school and everything. We're gonna go to the European Championships.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that way.
She's got an awful lot on her plate and everything like that, so it's really not a huge surprise if she didn't feel like she could commit to it or anything like that. But with school and everything like that, plus she's working, right?
Yeah.
So
You know, if it had been to where she thought, you know, this stuff hadn't went on at the Nats and all that, she'd have put in the time and commitment to do it. But she's like, why? You know. So, but that's up to her. You know, it's like I told her. You know, this is the second year all school's paid for. You know, we only got 4 more to go.
Yeah.
So the better.
Look at all of our old guy stories about getting started and getting back into control line after we had to take a break and have life events, you know, and not for the same reasons necessarily as Samantha, not the same reasons necessarily as each other, but this might be the time that she just needs to take a break until there is an opportunity to go full on at it sometime in the future. Maybe one day she'll have kids that are interested in it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I have a feeling though that if she leaves it, she'll never go back. That's how most people are.
Well, that's quite possible. And I guess the really tough thing to understand is if she really wants it, she'll be back. If she doesn't miss it, she won't. And that's cruel and ugly to say, but that's it. I mean, she had a hell of a run there, and that is an intelligent and beautiful young lady, and she's got the whole world as an oyster right now, and she's gonna figure out. She's gonna find challenges all over the place. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dad. But that's the way it might turn out. So.
I don't know. She asked me last week to teach her to shoot, and that's always what I did, and I quit doing it to fly with her. So I don't know. It may be a blessing. I'll get to go back and do what I did for years and years, and
oh, what the heck? Maybe you can teach her. She's older now. Maybe you can bring her into shooting. Maybe she'll like that.
well, she always wanted to do it, but I wouldn't let her do it till she was 18. Till she's full grown. Just because when you shoot a lot, it really takes its toll on your body. And kids with growing bones, I mean, hell, it messes up their shoulders and stuff like that. You know, I mean, grown men, it messes up shoulders and stuff. But you go for a week and shoot 1,700 rounds. That's a lot of beating on your body.
We've got better precautionary equipment these days than they did back when I was shooting skeet and that kind of stuff. And I never did anything like you did, Steve, except just go out and throw them with a little hand thrower and shoot them out of the air with the wrong kind of shells. But it's still, got my ears have tinnitus and I didn't take the right precautions, but it's
Mhm.
no excuse for not using all the precautions that are available today.
That's it. They keep raising the bar on that.
Yeah.
The neat thing about it is that, with her background flying stunt and practicing and focusing and things like that, she could probably progress in almost any competitive event. She'd have that to build on.
Yeah,
And she
you're
would,
right.
she understands how things work. She understands what commitment is, what practice is, and stuff like that. And, clearing her mind to focus on the task at hand and stuff. She would have a big advantage versus a lot of entry level shooters and, other young people, in her age group and everything like that. So, I mean, she'll be she could be successful at anything, but certainly she could be successful at that. So,
Well, that, and I can help her with that because I know how to do it.
well, yeah, that's it.
That
So,
makes it a whole lot easier than both of us trying to learn at the same time.
well, that's it. You guys both went through a lot of learning curve on that. So, hey, I just while we were chatting here on the side, I opened up the file for that last front end I designed for you.
Yeah.
And that was actually designed for an SV11, so it's got like that fuselage side and that wing and stuff.
Right.
Uh, if you could send me a couple of dimensions on the Uzama, maybe what I can do there is just take that, and I'm thinking I'm just kind of flatten it or change the dimensions on the overall height and stuff. Maybe we can make basically the same thing for you, just kind of resize it.
Okay. Hold on. I'll go get.
You know what I mean?
I got the plan right here.
Mm-hmm. While he's looking, Gerald, you're working your tail off there. What's going on?
I'm just waiting on
You got airplane parts all over the place here. Oops, I lost you.
No, I'm just working on a profile model that I wanted to finish off. It's a showman. We should have been flying it on the weekend, but we ended up flying combat wings and other models, and I thought I want to test it at home first.
Mm-hmm.
It's a model of shown on here before. For knowledge,
All right.
but I was going to use
We got a bad audio
Yeah.
connection on you, Gerald.
Yeah, I'm trying my new cell phone, and it's not that great. I can't change my settings properly.
I got a
When
question.
the boys come home, if it's still running, I'll change over.
Sparky's got a question.
I don't know if you can see that front end on that, Dennis, but that's kind of. I think that would take that scoop you make for the air for the motor really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like. That really keeps that motor cool. That little scoop you make.
All right. Tell you what, I will send you a list of dimensions. You send them back to me, and then I will send you a picture of the file, and we'll give it a couple of shots, and then we can have our friends in Carmichael's cut you out one, and you'll be good to go.
Cool.
Sparky, did you have a question?
Yeah, I got a question for Dennis. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and turn on the thing so he can see what I'm looking at.
All right.
That's not a very big prop you have there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hang on, I'll have you in a minute, Sparky. You keep jumping around. There you go.
Okay. This is how they normally are right here, but if you look at this spinner, this is a true turn spinner. This thing kind of blocks off that hole. Will that matter, or should I cut some holes in the outer ring?
I think you'd be in pretty good shape, and here's why. You see the spinner, and I'm looking at that gap around the outside.
No, well,
All right.
listen, there's only about a 16th to an 1/8 of an inch behind the big part here and this part here. So there's not much room in there.
Okay, so it's really, really tight.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do to push that out a little bit?
Well, I was thinking about, this is where the beams came through for the motor mount. I just filled them up. If I just cut those, bore some holes right in the same shape as this spinner into that, and maybe one on each side or one on top and bottom or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you could do, take the ring off a second. You see where the motor is? You've got 3 cooling holes, and the fourth spot is where the wires come out, right?
Right, the bottom.
Yeah. Well, one thing you could do is, pretty much like you just described. Imagine just chamfering that inner opening, especially close to those holes. Take a Dremel tool or something like that. See if you can just cut an angle on it.
There's a problem. It's aluminum. It's
All right.
really, it's really like T6 aluminum. It's tough. I had a hell of a time getting that hole cut.
Yeah. All right. So even the hole you got, what I'm looking at is that, that hole is straight through. You're not covering up the motor holes at all. And that is a true turn with the, okay, it's got the holes in the shell too. It
Right.
might be good enough the way it is.
What happens if they get hot? They just quit running?
Mm-hmm. But when any air that comes through the spinner is not going to have any place to go except into the motor. It's not going to be lost. And maybe those close clearances will actually work in your favor that way.
I had a question for you, Sparky.
Yeah.
On that front, on the cowl, how far does that come out past the spinner?
3/16 of an inch.
So then how much do you have for clearance on that?
What, 10 thousandths? You mean on the outside of that?
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is if the back of the spinner is away from that plate a quarter of an inch.
It ain't. It's tight. It's we're trying to make it close, like 15, 20 thousandths.
If you use a little smaller spinner, the air would go into that, hit that cowl, and then go back in and be like a forced.
Jerry just bought this spinner. It was $50. He ain't buying another one. I can tell you that now.
Okay, did you say the clearance to the aluminum backplate is something like 20 thousandths?
Yeah.
I would be worried that there could be enough flex even in the motor mount, the motor bearings, and everything like that could actually
You could
determine
slide
the
it
rub.
in and out half an inch, but run all the way back, it's about 20,000.
Mm-hmm. The other thing you can do is that just an adapter, one of those adapters that grabs the shaft.
Yes.
Well, maybe what he needs to do, and I've done this on some to get a better spinner fit, is you put basically a little spacer in there someplace to just force it forward. Oh, crap, a 16th or something like that.
You can pull it out anywhere you want, but you don't have to have a spacer on it.
Yeah, a good place for the spacers. I've done things like I had some little pieces of shot, and I dropped them into the adapter hole, so it basically hit the end of the motor shaft.
Right.
So it couldn't go back any farther, but it would always go back in the same spot. Yeah.
Pull it out a quarter of an inch, it can't come off there, but if you push it back till it stops, it's about 20,000. So he can put it anywhere he wants, but we're just kind of concerned if there's enough air going through that motor.
Yeah, well, that's basically what you have there is what I think what Steve was trying to describe, and that would frost the motor. That would get a lot of air to the motor that way.
Yeah. Did you see how Paul Walker does his?
Yeah, this ain't the same setup. This is a retrofit. This is not a.
Yeah. Walker does a little smaller spinner, and then the air goes in and then goes behind the back plate and through the motor.
Yeah, just like a Tom Morris mount.
Yeah, basically. But if it's out that far, you should get enough air through that.
Well, I'll just tell them to pull it out 1/8 of an inch. That's about an 1/8 right there.
Yeah, if it runs like that, it'll go through that spinner, hit that back plate ring, and then go through that motor.
Yeah, I think that what you have right there is going to cool like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I said that I would fix it for him. And I just don't want to hand it back and have it, because if this don't work, I don't know what to tell them. I mean, That's my best guess of how to make it work.
I thought you were going back to electric there for a minute.
Not a chance.
I think he's weakening, Steve.
He is.
Last time I asked him that, he said hell no. So he didn't say hell no this time. So I think he's weakening. So
But you know,
As much as he builds, he's going to run out of the gas engine, and he's going to have to go to electric to try to come up with new ways to do that, better ways. We know how smart he is. He's going to push the envelope on stuff, and it's going to be back to electric to what he can push the envelope on that.
I got
I don't think anybody here is in danger.
I'm looking forward to the return of the beam fire. That's all I can say. So that was a neat airplane. I really liked that one. But
which one?
The beam fire, the crossfire I-beam electric jet.
The one that Jerry got. He crashed at Joe North. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, beam fire was cool. Had a light airplane too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I know it was. It was yours, so I know it was light. But anyhow,
I'm working on this Tucker special. We really got this wing figured out. I think. I'll do it. I was supposed to do it Tucker tonight, or I do it on the night that they don't. But tomorrow night there'll be a Tucker update. Here's the foam core. This will be a sheeted leading edge with a little white foam with a D-tube, car on the back, and then I have it sectioned up as geodesic instead of straight ribs. So it's kind of a combat wing, modern lost foam job.
Are you gonna put a piece of balsa wood on the back of the D-tube part of the, and then put your ribs in that?
Yep, you have to.
I'll be right back.
That type of construction is a little out of the norm for the average builder. And I was trying to do this Tucker special build for the average builder. But I wanted to try that because I hate the starved horse look on the leading edge. So the next big stunt plane might have that type of construction.
Charles, you got that fuselage done?
I'm working on gluing the crutch into the plywood doublets right now.
Holy moly, man!
I know, I'm making progress, right?
Oh yeah.
Slow, but making progress.
Take that fuselage jig, go like that, glue it together, you're done.
You talking to me, Sparky?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
You got more time setting that fuselage jig up than it does take to glue the fuselage together.
Well, you see, what happened was I had shaped the crutch as a contour, the front of it, and when I had the doublers leaned against it, they wouldn't bend enough. I had to wet the doublers and get them to contour.
You're supposed to mold them before you put them on.
That's what I did. So these have been molded, and now they're going on. That's what the delay was. So I got the few sides molded too. They got a concave to them also.
Down, we can't see it too high.
I got epoxy cooking right now.
Hang on, I'll get back to focusing on people when I sit down. All right.
So Dennis, what have you been up to? We haven't seen you on here, and you didn't make.
Well, that's about it. I was able to make one day at Bobby's contest, managed to damage my airplane, got hung up in their grass, and so Then the week after that, my wife and I went on a little mini trip, so I didn't get a chance to repair anything or practice with anything else or anything like that. So that's why I missed FCM.
Oh, okay.
You're waiting
But
to go back, right?
it been kind of, the second half of the summer has been kind of a washout for me as far as flying and everything like that.
So what did you come up with your air conditioning and furnace? Have you done anything with that yet?
Yeah, I got it all in. They got it in the next day and stuff like that. Uh, I think the day, maybe it's 2 days after I talked to you, they had it in. And that actually, in the process of doing the new furnace, I had to, the furnace in the basement there is kind of in the middle of my workshop and storage areas and stuff. So I basically had to take everything apart to give them room. And I've still been putting it back together. I haven't even spent a lot of time down there. So I'm hoping to make some mess down there tomorrow. Not even sure what I'm gonna work on, but I'm gonna get on something. Like I say, I got the United conversion. I got it started, and I have the Viking old timer basically ready for covering, and I was gonna try covering that. I got a couple of old airplanes I want to strip down just to see how that all works, and if I can, I want to see if I can convert those and resurrect them, if you will.
Nothing like a nice
And
pile of shavings and curly cues of balsa and cut up covering on the floor to make the world seem like all is well.
yeah, well, if I had an ounce of sense, I wouldn't try, refurbing these things. I would start from scratch. But of course, I already qualified my answer on that. I have the second, Hawker Typhoon semi-scale airplane. Is the airplane I won the junior nationals with in 1969. In 1970, I built a second version, and it never flew right. All right. Well, long and short of it is, I think I figured out why it wasn't flying right, but wasn't able to get it to check it. But I have the airplane back. It was one of the airplanes my dad had bought back from somebody, and this thing had probably 1,000 flights from somebody else. But at any rate, that's the airplane built in 1970, and my plan is to strip it down and do some serious surgery on it, see if I can find and fix what's wrong with it, and put it all back together. So I will have a brand new airplane built in 1970. All right. And why? Just because I'm curious as hell, and it still pisses me off that put all this effort into a duplicate airplane, and the damn thing never flew right.
No shit.
I just want to know if I can fix that. So then the other one is the last airplane I built after my second comeback, back in 1983, the Eclipse that was published in 1982 flying models. Uh, Same thing. It was paper covered. Actually, the skin, all the wood areas were done with polyester resin and fiberglass cloth. And it was a D tube and paper, and the paper, of course, is all dried out and cracking and stuff. Well, if I can get that one stripped down, and then I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do. Obviously, I want to convert that to electric, and that could actually be a pretty good airplane. What makes that one compelling is that, number one, it flies very well, or flew very well, with the OS-35 in it. But it was also a pretty light airplane, so I got a little bit of room to play. Normally when you do an electric conversion of a gas airplane, they have a tendency of getting heavier rather than optimized. But I think in this case, I think I can keep out of my own way with that and make it happen.
How come you not add one drop of castor oil per ounce of dope?
I'm sorry, Sparky, say again, please.
How come you're not adding 1 drop of castor oil per ounce of dope to keep the covering from cracking?
Mm.
How come?
I'm well, on the polyester airplane and stuff, I think I can pull all the paint off the polyester. I'll get down. Polyester resin is pretty damn impervious to everything. I should be able to strip the butyrate dope off the polyester and not have any trouble with it. So I'd just be worried about stripping the paper. And as far as neutralizing it and everything like that, I'm just in touch with Randy Ryan, and I'll check with a few other folks, and I guess you have to do something after you use that dad stripper to restabilize everything before you bring the covering back up. But I have no idea if I answered your question at all, Spark. I'm having a hard time making out what you were asking for.
He was wondering why you didn't put any dope in a drop of dope in your
No.
A drop.
or drop of castor oil in your dope.
Oh, never did
Keep it
that.
from cracking.
Plasticize it.
I take that back. The Eclipse, that one did have plasticizer. It was a product called Flexol plasticizer that I think was just castor oil. And I remember I painted the base coat on that, and it took it a month to fully harden up. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And it was stable and everything like that, but it took it forever. And really, really held back, preparation time for it. So yeah, that's what happened with that. So, and then the other one, Sparky, the old Typhoon, the 1970 airplane, no plasticizer in it, but that was done with the good old Aerogloss.
Definitely need plasticizer with Aerogloss.
Yeah, the Aerogloss is you can see, you look at it, certain areas, it's like crazed, like cracking and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it had we were using basically Randolphs or typically Randolphs for base coats through the paper, and then it was fully sheeted airplane, so it just has I can't remember if I used silkspan or Jap tissue. I think it was Jap tissue on it, just basically something to cover up the wood grain. And then the color coats were all Aerogloss, and the clear was Aerogloss. The Aerogloss clear was famous for getting a really good shine, but it got a good shine because the stuff was hard. And over time, that hard turns into cracks. So,
Yeah.
Hey, we got a question from the YouTubers. Jackson Avley was going back to something we must have showed. Maybe it was when I walked away. And I'm not sure who he's addressing. So is this lost foam system that Rusty is doing, does he melt that foam out after it's covered? And isn't that a mess? Or no?
No.
I think we need to explain what the lost foam system actually is.
Tucker videos, and it'll all be explained on the Tucker series.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You've also got one dedicated to making a cutting out a wing too. I think you and John did it on the table at his house one day. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I just remember that.
Well, I spent about an hour yesterday looking for a lost foam wing that Sparky did. So I'm pretty sure he did, but I can't find it on there. And they don't go by dates or whatever, and they're actually in order. And the things on YouTube are just all over the place.
you can blame YouTube.
Huh?
You can blame YouTube.
Yeah.
Speaking of YouTube, I wanted to put a link. There's a way you can edit after it's already been uploaded to YouTube, and put a little message at the top right corner at any time in the video you want to. And I wanted to put a link to my list of the Stunt Hangar video chats that I host. Just me, not mixed in with all the Sparky stuff. And it's just 0 through 200 of the video chats that we've done. And it wouldn't let me post a link to another site, which would have been to my Rusty K site. It would not let me post a link from there. That's what
You can't do that.
yeah, I guess not.
I can't do that. It's just not part of YouTube deal.
Okay.
However, I will tell you this. Now, when you shut the stream off, shut it off at YouTube. End the stream at YouTube, because Charles and Jeff Riley talked for 10 hours, and they thought that after you closed the last one down, and they thought that I wouldn't see them. And I saw every bit what they said for 10 hours.
Yeah, I guess that was my mistake. That was a glitchy night. And it also, when the stream quit at 2 hours, I had to go search for the stream key so I could restart it. And nothing was work. I couldn't get it and copy it. When I finally did get it back, it scrambled together a bunch of stuff from our video. It was all out of order, and I think it only lasted 7 minutes, and it was gone the next day. I wondered if you had deleted that. And I'm glad it was gone because I didn't want to screw with it.
I deleted the 10 hours that I woke up to.
Okay, good.
What
I didn't know that.
airplane is that nose for, Sparky?
Discovery Retro.
Oh, okay.
I got Stinko.
Oh, it's a Shark or whatever.
Yeah, Retro Discovery.
Well, you have to tear everything out of there for that and then put in the electric.
You remember, you were there at FCM. You remember when he almost crashed? You know, the engine went crazy.
Yeah.
That's the airplane.
Oh,
He didn't have it mounted very well. He had that on a plywood nose ring thing like Tom Morris had it. He just was glued at the end of the motor mounts. Well, I knew that wasn't going to work, so I just redesigned the nose. Hopefully it'll hold together. If it doesn't, I don't know what else to do.
well, if it's aluminum in there now, that should be a lot nicer.
Well, it's got phenolic, whatever that crap is.
Oh, okay.
It's hard shit. Eats up the saw blades, I'll tell you that.
It is hard shit. I always thought it was basically fiberglass layered up in different directions, like just ply.
Well, guys, I gotta go to bed.
All right.
All right, Sparky.
See you tomorrow.
Don't forget.
Fair win.
Don't forget to shut off the YouTube stream.
YouTube first. Yeah, that's generally what I do. I'll remember to do it that way all the time.
All right.
Good night.
See ya.
Good.
Hey, Dennis or Steve or anybody, you guys know what these are for? This is the first time using this fuse jig, and I don't know what these are for. You guys see what I'm pointing at?
I can't see it real well. I don't know what it is.
Let me change the camera angle a little bit. Those metal studs there, those rods sticking out. These here. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never used a fuselage jig.
It draws it down. They're both adjustable. And I was just curious if anybody has seen that before.
No.
Only thing I can think of is that maybe rubber bands, pinch stuff together. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking maybe put the wing, maybe support the wing, or maybe hold a stab. If it was back in the back, maybe hold a stab up. I was trying to figure that out today.
Oh, that might be for the wing, because that'd be about where the wing goes in, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure who made this. This was given to me by Kevin McElroy, and he got it from Dave Sabon. I don't know where Dave Sabon got it from. I don't know.
Does it look like a commercially made piece of equipment?
It's it could have been, or a really good woodworker. I mean, it's a really heavy duty apparatus.
Yeah, we got some
really like
guys
the spot.
who can. We got some guys who
I don't
can
know
make
why
it work.
they're up so high for, though. That might be where the wing would come out if the bottom of the fuse sets flat.
Yeah, I was just curious if anyone's familiar with it.
I'm not familiar with full fuse building either, so I can't be of any help.
Yeah, because I always build mine on a board, and then I shim I got things that go out about a foot on each side, and that squares the wing to the. I got 2 lines on the table that cross, and then that gives me the squareness of that. And then further back, I always draw one for the elevator to square that to the center line. But then I always got to make little things to hold the wing and the tail at 0 when I glue it in. But yeah, Dennis is back now. He might have seen something like that before.
Oh, he wasn't there earlier? Okay.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to replace batteries, and I was getting snack envy. I saw a lot of cool snacks on the scene, so I had to go get some.
No problem.
Okay.
Ask
I was
Dennis.
asking about, Dennis, I'm asking about these rods here. They're adjustable,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what they're used for. I mean, I figured everything else out, but I have no clue what these are for.
Don't know what to tell you. Whose jig is that? What jig is that?
You know what? Dave Savon thought that Ed Southwick made it.
Huh. Don't
I
know.
can't verify that. But it's a really heavy-duty jig. I mean, it is. I mean, it itself weighs a good, I don't know, 20, 25 pounds. It's heavy-duty.
Mhm.
Really, I mean, I use this to shape the doublers and the U sides. I mean, it holds
Mhm.
things in place. I mean, it's really
Okay.
good.
That piece you can't figure out. Can you hold it up to the camera again? I couldn't make out exactly what you had.
Let me, I'll move the camera to the jig. Hang on a second. Let me focus on this so I can see what I'm doing. And I'll move the camera.
Okay, while he's doing that, Rusty, I got a small problem here. The big screen picture is coming in okay, but all the little sidebar pictures, they all turn black on me. Any idea what that might be about?
No, the only
main
black
picture
ones
is
that I see are the ones that are actually doing the big screen domination. Everybody else is in living color.
Yeah.
Do you have your little pointer over there on them?
Yeah, make sure you mouse it and hover it over the stack, but I don't think that's it, Steve.
No, that's it. I'm moving it all around. Now, if I click on any of the boxes, you guys come in loud and clear.
Try.
Yeah.
But
You see down at the bottom there, Dennis, there's like 4 boxes.
right.
Click on that once.
And when I do that, now all I have is everybody's in a black box.
Wow, that's strange.
Wow, let me go to that. I hadn't even tested that setting. No, I get a bunch of clear pictures of all of us when I click
Everybody was
that.
clear earlier, and then all of a sudden they went bad. I could
Picture
probably
browser.
close it and restart it, but I don't know if it's worth that.
You see that? Can you see
you
that
can-
thing that Charles has there now? He's got it focused in.
Hang on, Rusty's got advice. Dennis, go up. Are you on a computer?
Yeah.
Okay. Just take your mouse up to the top to the left of the address bar where you type URLs in and click the refresh, that circular arrow, and that'll probably fix your problem.
Has anybody on YouTube have an idea what this is I'm looking at?
Well, you're right. It
We'll
looks
be
like it
back
fixed
with
it. That fixed it, but what it basically did is took me off for a second and brought me back. So
Yeah.
okay.
You got to back up, right? Yeah, right there. Oh, up a little higher, Charles.
You talking to me?
Yeah, up a little higher. Higher camera.
Hang on, get my
Who am I? Let's see. Where's Charles? I'm supposed to be focused on Charles.
Yeah,
Now
no,
I am.
time someone talks that goes,
Oh, now we can see a better picture of it.
I have
And
a
they move
feeling it centers your wing or it picks your wing up and down or whatever. I would bet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
incidents. That's for your incidents, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
possible. I get. Is
I don't-
that aluminum tube? Is that running lengthwise to the fuselage?
It
It's
looks like
parallel to the fuselage.
Right.
Well, you can see my crush right there. That's the back
Okay.
of the
Yeah.
crutch.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I see the crutch. Okay.
That's the back of the
Well,
crutch. That's F2 right there.
I think what they said, maybe not even so much incidents. It might be a way for you to make sure that the wing is not sitting, or that it's level with the fuselage. That it's not, the fuselage isn't leaning over one way or the other.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know what you do for the back though for incidents.
Well, that's it. I don't think it's incidents. I think what it is to keep the wing from tilting when you glue it in.
Okay. Yeah, I can see. Yeah,
Yeah, side to side,
side to side.
in the front view, so it isn't tilting side. And it looks like you got a little room to adjust that and everything like that. So yeah, a little bit of TLC to adjust that, and then you would want the wing to just barely touch it, so it doesn't put incidents into it. Want to make sure it was nestled in the wing saddle. But
Yeah. Anyways, if you didn't know, I appreciate it. I was just curious if anyone's familiar with this type of fuse jig. Like I said, you can see how heavy that wood is, and the railing is really heavy. It's really.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Mhm.
thanks for looking at it. I appreciate it. I'm gonna put this camera away or back.
I don't
Let's
know.
see.
You worked so hard for that picture too. So
Yeah, yeah. I was really flexing my muscles holding this heavy camera. Let's see here. If I can get this.
Well, Dennis, I don't know about next Saturday if you don't have anything going on and you want to drive all the way up past Grand Rapids. We're having a little get together with everybody from around here. John Pierce is driving over, him and his wife, and we're supplying hamburgers and hot dogs or brats and. But it's
Sounds like a good time.
yeah, but it'd be
Yeah,
about 3.5. Nah, over a 3-hour drive for you. But you're welcome to come if you want.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we had hot dogs for supper tonight. That's always good. Once in a while thing. Oh, Jackson Navely hit us back. Let's see. After talking about the lost phone, he hit me back saying, "Okay, Rusty, thanks, and I'll check out the videos of Sparky." Yeah,
Yeah, I think
they're kind of scattered, so you have to watch and fast forward and watch some. Fast forward. It's kind of like watching windy videos, only not near as bad.
Yeah, I
The
wasn't
wind,
sure what I thought what I thought Sparky was going to do is, normally if you use Bob Hunt's system for lost foam, you basically use the main foam core as a fixture for cutting balsa wood ribs.
right.
So you basically, all of those lines there, you cut the foam there, you put a piece of wood up against it and trace it and then sand it to that shape.
Mm-hmm.
Then you use the wing saddles to line everything up.
Yeah.
So he would have a planked leading edge D tube. He'd have that sitting in the saddle, and then he would take these ribs that would be cut out, and he would glue those in basically to the back of the D tube and to the front of the trailing edge, and then he'd put some trailing edge planking on it. So it's like the back of the ribs, the ribs don't extend into the leading edge of the wing, I guess is what it amounts to. They'd start at the back of the that foam core. So that's what I'm expecting anyway.
Have you ever?
Bob regrets naming it the lost phone system. He said it's caused more confusion among people as to what it is.
Have you ever built one, Dennis?
I've never built one, no.
Yeah, I'm doing one now. And I find that cutting out all the lightning holes, you know, in the ribs and stuff are the hardest part so far. But
I'd love to have a stack of the used empty cores, or no, what do you call it? The saddles, or the empty shells of popular favorite planes like the Cardinal and the Oriental, and even the Twister and stuff like that.
Well, you know, it's funny. Last time I talked to Hunt about that, you know, he makes a wing for somebody. Somebody will say, "Hey, make me a wing for, you know, XYZ," and then he'll say, "Well, you want me to send you, send me the jigs and everything?" No. Just hang on to them. I might order another wing sometime. Well, and so as a result, he has a warehouse full of one-time used, lost foam fixtures.
Yeah.
Right. And they may not be a twister or something like that, but it might be something like a twister.
Yeah. Close enough. I mean, geez.
I'll bet if you talk to them, I bet you could get one or two of those for a pretty reasonable price. So
I bet. Yeah. You know, that's rude of people to ask him to do that and then not follow through on making the purchase and having it shipped. Even if you lost your urge or need for it, you know, order the thing, pay the man.
Well, I think it's not so much a question. He'll build like one wing off of it and send the person a wing for the order, but he might not ever order a second wing.
Yeah.
But that same thing is stored there. So
yeah, he's paid for it. Yeah, unless it's like an SB or something like that, where he built a bunch of wings, or. But yeah. But what I'd like to do, see done is that when he cuts a lost foam wing, it'd be nice to have the ribs laser cut about a 16,000, 16th of an inch bigger than that. So when all the centers and everything is all cut, and then you just sand it to shape.
Yeah, make sure the cap strips meet flush with the leading edge and trailing edge sheeting. Is that what you mean? And
yeah.
With the spars.
Yeah, because, well, you make the ribs to fit the cradle, basically.
Right.
So if you had them a little bit big, you could just then pin them to the piece of styrofoam, sand them to shape, number them, and you'd be ready to go. I mean, cutting all the little holes and connecting the lines, and it takes a lot of time to make a rib. So, and I'm finding out that the lighter the balsa wood, the harder it is. The shit's so fragile and everything else, and it's like it's drier or something. I don't know.
The only ribs I've ever made were for simple planes, mostly straight wings, but I just stacked them up 5 at a time between 2 templates and boom, hit them with the belt sander until it got down too close and hand sanded it the rest of the way. I'm talking about 10 minutes for 5 ribs, screw them out, unscrew the nuts. But I did that in my beginning days of stunt ships, and when I was flying things like Sky Rays and stuff like that I wanted to kit bash or something like it. I turned a Sky Ray into a nice flight streak looking plane called the Osprey. And that's how I did the wings on that with a contest grade balsa. And yeah, whoever said it was right. That is some maddeningly fragile stuff to work with. Looking for the boys.
The boys' bus will be home in any minute. I'm just walking over so I can see if the bus arrives.
Yeah, I
look out
figured
the
you were
window.
looking for him when you got up and looked out the door.
All right, so
So you
that is what's cut out of.
Now, let
And
me
a
click
lot-
on your teeth. Hang on just a second. There we go. Okay, we got you.
So that's that. Where's number one? This is number one. So number one rib, then you pin the balsa wood to this. Once you cut it out, rough it out, pin it to that, then you sand it to shape. And then you can see on top where the rib goes, I mean the spar goes. So then you got to cut out for the spar. Then you got to put in the lightning holes. You got to put a brace in here and a brace back there across. I got that marked. Where a little brace.
You just used a hobby knife to cut the lightning hose.
Yeah, well that, and I bought a little. I tried tubing, and it just crushes this really light balsa. I can't get it sharp enough, so I bought a compass with a razor blade in it.
Yeah,
Stuff.
I've made one like that.
And go real easy, and then I just got to clean up a little bit, but
yeah, I got a redneck version of the exact same thing.
So, but yeah, you gotta, put your center line on it, stuff like that. And then I use this for a template to draw for every other one. So I know.
Yeah.
And then get the back, how far, because all the backs are the same. Front off the front, and then draw the rest. But yeah, it takes a while. It goes together real well. That's. I did this before at Chris Rudd's house. Cut all them out. Took me a whole day, and then Samantha and him glued them all in and stuff. That went pretty fast.
Well, the funny thing is, the more time you spend on this stage, the faster the rest of it goes. It just falls together if you do your homework there. So
yeah, once you stick, put in that bottom spar, put everything up there, and start tacking them in place, and the trailing edge and stuff like that, and then you make that. You have that buck that you make the whole sheeting for the leading edge. That just wraps around and glue that in. And then, the other back, and it was like they knocked that whole wing out in, I don't know, 20 minutes. Had everything done, It's just getting everything up to that point.
yeah. I've built wings I used to carve ribs like Rusty was describing. Do a tapered wing the same way. You do the whole set of ribs, and then you go through and cut out the openings and stuff like Steve's going through. And then I've made the same wings in foam, starting, making a set of templates and everything like that. And it was basically like a one night or, 1.5 night thing either way for me.
Yeah.
It really didn't seem to take a huge amount of difference one way or the other. One problem you get to with the foam, of course, you got a great big piece of foam cut, and it looks like it's ready to go, where it starts taking up time when you do things like trying to put in landing gear blocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And trying to get a proper reinforcements in there and stuff. That's what starts taking time. So,
well, that's on.
I don't know.
It has wing mounted gear, and I got to figure out how to get that in the wing. Because these ribs are I had them done at 1.5 inch spacing, so I could fully sheet it. I don't know if I will, but so from the plans, they're not the same spacing, so the blocks aren't the same, but I'll figure it out somehow.
Yeah, I'd say worst case, when you get to those ribs, you just glue a plywood doubler to the ribs, or even just throw out the rib and make a new plywood rib. light ply or something like that, rib to hold the landing gear block. You'll be
Yeah,
there.
yeah. On the plan, they got it's in between two ribs, and you glue it on the outside of the ribs.
Mm-hmm.
But since these ribs are narrower, they stick out further. So I may have to make a set of false ones in the front and come in.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know,
make the landing gear blocks what? It's 1.5 inch rib space. Make the landing gear block 3 inches long, and you're good to go. Or
yeah, that's true too.
just make the block a little longer, a little shorter to do the job. So
Oh, okay.
just to keep the structure straight and stuff like that. So kiss.
Yeah, I figured that'll be later this week. I'll
Yeah.
start figuring that out.
Keep it simple, Steve. Right?
Yeah,
That's what KISS stands for, right?
yeah, that's for sure. Well, that
Alrighty.
then I'll get the battery box and figure out how to get that all to work right. But yeah, it's kind of fun doing it, figuring it out. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like on that with that SV front end, took a little bit, but I got it.
Yeah. So
I'll do it a little different next time, but it works fine.
mm-hmm.
It's just that I think this one's going to be nicer because there's not a pipe tunnel.
Right.
And I got rid of the pipe tunnel, most of it on that Staris, electric Staris. I'm like, why do I need an inch sticking down there? That's just, it's just there. So I end up cutting everything back. But it worked out good.
Did you ever finish that? Did she ever fly it?
No, we're ready to start painting the fuselage, and she hasn't got over here yet. We're ready to put silk span on the fuselage, actually, or
Okay.
tissue, I guess we're going to use. But yeah, we're that far.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were getting pretty close, so I was thought you thought you might be over the finish line. But
Yeah, we're getting there. I brought it there to FCM. I wanted to show you and stuff. We didn't make it, and my back was hurting me so bad at the Detroit contest. I got up and I was gonna come over there, and I'm like, man, I just don't know if I can take the 2.5 hours of bouncing in the truck. So I didn't go. But hold on.
How's your back feeling? You able to walk around on it all right? On your legs all right?
must be he just walked away for a second. So
I guess so. That answered the question.
It's feeling pretty decent today. But what happens is it takes like 3 days once I get it hurting to get it to stop. But
What do you do? And what makes it hurt? Just when you overdo stuff?
yeah, well, like a dumbass, I went out to a flying field and we messed around out there. Walking on uneven ground really gets to me.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Oh, that looks good. Boy, it's got a big elevator deflection.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have that
As long as I get everything nice and loose. So, but yeah, that's her tail design. It's growing on me the more I see it. That's why I told her the other day.
Is that a shark?
Huh?
Is that a shark?
It is a Staris wing. That's foam. That's the one. I don't know if you've seen pictures and stuff where I embedded carbon fiber in it, and it looks like a built-up wing because I figured less glue, less balsa.
Yeah.
And then that's Dennis's SV battery box and stuff that works. I mean, it's just worked sweet. So I got that in there, and I cut it down because this doesn't have a pipe. And The only thing we forgot after we did it this far is that I have to cut a hole in here or something, but it's going to need a there was outside. It's going to need a place for the sensor or timer or whatever on this one. So yeah, it's coming along pretty good. It weighs 26 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Gerald's driveway. Oh, there he goes. Oh, there's the bus. The kids are home.
Well, you know about that. One of my little magnets come out of there. Didn't have it glued good.
Gerald's just strolling along.
Yeah.
Nice looking yard and driveway you got there.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Looks like
He's got a
spiderwort growing in the foreground, but some indigenous New Zealand vegetation, I guess. No telling.
Think we should tell him to cut the lawn or something like that? Look at that. Even the cat came out to help him.
Taken care of. Is that a kitty cat? Or is
Yeah,
that a dog? That's a kitty cat.
I hope it's so.
Looks like a pretty busy road out there.
Yeah.
When he gets back, I'm gonna ask him what kind of marsupial that is.
Yeah.
Tasmanian tiger or
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Kiwi cat, something.
Tasmanian kitty cat.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, they froze for a minute. Got to the camera, I suppose. We might have a remote control for it. Oh well. I'll click
I
off.
think he's running around to look out the window. Kind of looks like birch trees there down towards the end of his driveway. That
They
white
do
bark.
with that white bark. They kind of do.
You know, I don't know if they have, you can import trees. There he goes. Turn it back around.
Hey, kiddos, how you doing?
Hey guys. Hey, was that one of them Tasmanian tigers I seen out there in your driveway?
One of our 5 cats you made. They normally meet us after school, the cats, but since it's raining out there, we only got, I think, 1 cat greet us today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a good flying session on the weekend, and the weather was really nice. I thought the boys could say hello, and then we might sign off, and I'll get them afternoon tea. And if I've got time, I'll come back on after, but otherwise, it's goodbye for now anyway.
You got a beautiful area out there, all lined up with your flowers. Those little short purple flowers look like what we call spiderwort, and they just grow wild, and so we have to keep them pulled where we don't want them. But I saw a bunch of what looked like that, and you look like you had birch trees down near the end of the driveway with that white bark.
Yeah, there's birch trees, and then there's some native trees, but yeah, it's very green around here. There are a lot of trees
It's beautiful.
around out the border. Thank you. And Max is doing some other pictures, but I think I'll probably best to post them on Stunt Hangar. The phone's not going to register them.
Oh, all right.
Ah,
That plane is possessed.
that's so funny.
That's a great picture.
That's exactly what happened to me at the Detroit contest.
Even people in the background. Duck pond. I can't read what the words say.
It's no use.
It's grumbling at me.
Grumbling at me, yeah. The duck pointing at the plane, yeah.
All right.
There's a what does it say?
Do y'all have art contests at school to see who gets their pictures into school annual
What
book?
the kid says is that, but Dad, the ground keeps wanting to hug my plane.
Yeah.
What's the last one?
Please don't let her.
Yeah, how open are?
Yeah, I might post some of his pictures in the humour section.
Yeah. You can't really. Yeah. because it's seen as a mirror image.
And he loves drawing, and often when we go out to the flying field, Max will be there drawing, inspired by what he's seeing around him. So anyway, we'll bid you a good day for now. Or
Good
night,
day.
and we'll get off there and
Hey.
see they get off.
What's happening, Max?
Okay.
Well, listen,
Hey, Max.
do y'all submit pictures to the school so they can put them in the yearbook, and or do y'all put out an art book? Like my son's school used to have a thick student art book that came out every year or two, and it would have student art. Do y'all have anything like that?
No. The closest we've got today is the school calendar. Yeah. Rugby, more rugby.
I don't know.
What made you
I was just thinking those would make interesting posts on Stunthangar. Post those pictures and let
Yeah, they would.
let everybody
Yeah.
comment on them. That one with the airplane chasing the pilot. I think
That's a great
that
one.
happens.
It looks
Yeah,
like
that's a
one
great
of
one.
the Wilkes. Looks like one of the Wilkes collections almost, and I can't remember his first name. I think his last name was Wilkes. That did a whole book of control line jokes.
Yeah,
There's so many.
the old Model Aviation magazine had it was mostly RC stuff, but the Micro Henrys.
Yeah,
Oh man, that was a great series. I love that. No, you guys post some pictures. I think the rest of us would get a kick out of seeing that. There's several hundred members on Stunthangar would get a kick out of seeing those. So
Yeah.
Thanks.
club members always enjoy it when you do pictures of the flying field. Out of it.
I think that one about the ground hugging the airplane. I've never heard anybody put it quite that way before. But
Yeah. I remember a guy at our club said, always remember, flying the blue, not the green.
Don't land on your propeller, the other one.
well,
We'll say goodbye for now, and we'll catch up with you all later. See you, Dennis and Charles and Sparky.
Bye.
And Rusty.
All right, see you guys later.
see you guys
you guys
later.
take care.
Bye.
Yeah. Some talented artists there.
Yeah, and those days were fun when the kids were growing up and finding their different skill sets, and doing things like that.
Man, you're right. You're right. Oh well.
I always wish Samantha would have kept up with some of that. And she has
Well,
this
that's
summer.
about kids as they grow and progress. They go from one thing and do it to excellence, and then put it down and move on to the next. And that's just the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she went out this summer. She went and got some paper and some. I don't know. She has a lot of stuff, but she was drawing like bushes and flowers and stuff like that, And
Yeah,
but yeah, I wish she'd do more of it, paint it like she used to. But
her interests are just she's experimenting with different interests. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of it was in school because she was in art class and stuff. So she had assignments, so she'd have to do a lot of it, and that was homework. Well, now that she has different homework, it takes up time. I know last Tuesday, she got out of school at 6. She was home by 7. She said she did homework till like 11 o'clock at night. Got back up the next day and did another 6 hours of homework before she had to go to work. So,
wow, that's too much homework. Well, wait though. She's in college. She's not in high school.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that she took all of her classes. They're Tuesdays and Thursdays. So she goes at, I think, from 8:30 in the morning till 6 at night, 2 nights or 2 days a week.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That way she doesn't have to drive that all the time. And she can work, so her schedule is open more. To where her best friend there goes 5 days a week. Well, and that's kind of screwy because she has like one class at 9, and then her next class is at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. But there's a lot of break in time there, and so Samantha likes it better this way. But
it's going to be a pretty short time before this program pops up and tells us they're cutting off the YouTube stream. It looked like it did it once for a minute that I didn't even notice, but I'll try to restart it. If you YouTubers get dropped, I apologize. And somebody post back and let's make sure we are streaming to YouTube right now. If somebody would check, I would appreciate it. And any of you, like Jack or Andy or who else is out there? Not many people, like John Skukalek, Charles. Any of y'all out there, just hit me up with a still here message, so I'll know you're with us. I don't know why it does that, but it didn't the other night either. But usually after the first 2 hours, which will happen at 11:50, the YouTube stream stops, and I have to restart it manually. So I always have the stream key ready on the clipboard so I can post it back in and keep going without missing but a second or two.
Okay, Rusty, I just tried posting something.
Oh, I see it. Yep, we got you.
All right, and I just see lost the, what was it, John
Skukalak.
Skukalak
Yeah.
had a question on electrics. I don't know if he's still there or not, but is there a good package to start with? I have no experience with electric. And John, if you're still there, I'd recommend you go to the Brodac website and check out the electric Super Clown ARF. All right, it's almost ready to fly airplane, and you can get a complete turnkey package for the power system. Yeah, the airplane's almost ready to fly. The power system is in a bag, and it includes the charger and everything like that. And everything in there will get you in the air, and pretty user friendly, pretty easy to set up.
Yeah, that's the answer we needed. I think that was before you came in, and we were talking about other stuff and mentioned that one, but it got kind of lost in the fray. And hey, Troyan just showed up. How you doing tonight, Troyan?
Yeah, good.
Let's see. This is our Romanian with who likes his beauty sleep, right? Remember that?
No.
He's a Romanian, but now an Atlantean.
Romanian Atlantean, whatever. Okay.
I used to be an Atlantean
Mm-hmm.
back in college.
Yeah, I used to work there quite a bit. We used to, when I was at Ford, we used to go down to the Lockheed Wind Tunnel in Atlanta, and I spent quite a few months there. But anyway, yeah.
yeah, I feel sorry for them people there in the Bahamas. Oh my God, talk about being in the wind tunnel.
It's just parked on. It's just parked and spinning.
I mean, it's slowed down some now, but can you imagine 4 or 5 hours of 180-mile-an-hour winds?
No, I cannot imagine how terrifying that would be. There's nothing that won't rip apart at that speed and duration.
I mean, it was just lingering, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, here we had some straight line winds off of Lake Michigan, and they're like 70, 80 miles an hour. It ripped off rooftop units off of roofs. Our neighborhood, shitting 45, 50 trees went down. And that was only like 80. I can't imagine what 200 would, gust to 200 and 180 mile an hour.
Trayan and Rusty, you guys live on the edge of Tornado Alley there too, or Hurricane Alley too, don't you?
We
So-
sort of do. We're close enough to the coast here to where uh, we'll get either the edge of a storm passing up the Atlantic coast headed north to maybe to the Outer Banks, or one it'll either go around or through Florida and then come up through the Gulf and make a turn and come over the Appalachians and jump on us. And we're 130 miles from the ocean, and it'll frequently cut a path straight through South Carolina and back out into the Atlantic, where hopefully the water's colder at a higher latitude.
Do you get very many tornadoes there, trying where you're at, or not?
Last time that I know when we got hit with a tornado was many years ago, and I was flying from Frankfurt to Atlanta at the time. So as we were approaching Atlanta, our flight was diverting outside back into the ocean, right? And we slowed down considerably, and I think we were like more like an en route holding pattern. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we slowed down a lot, and after we landed, we were announced that we had a tornado right down in downtown Atlanta that tore apart some things over there. But that's the only one that I know of. Other than that, hurricanes and stuff like that were pretty much splitting. They either go on the Gulf side or they go on the ocean side.
Atlanta's pretty hilly too, so it's got some geographic reasons for suppressing tornadoes. But Columbia is right in the flat Midlands of South Carolina, so yeah, we do get them coming through here. And the worst part of Tornado Alley is surrounds us about 60 miles on each side. So tornadoes are scary. I mean, not that it all isn't. Any of this stuff can ruin your life or your day. But yeah, to answer your question, we are in Tornado Alley a little bit.
Now, where I grew up was like Michigan Tornado Alley, but they weren't as frequent as what they get there, out west and stuff like that.
Yeah, Kansas and whatever really gets Kansas and Iowa, stuff like that, they get blasted. So
yeah, we get it with snow when we have bad I don't know, we get thunder snow actually here and stuff like that, where it came through there. And 79, I don't know how many feet of snow we got, but it shut down the whole town for almost a week. And 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where I lived, tornado came across and tore the house up that I grew up in and tore down most of the trees. The park 2-3 streets over lost 150 trees, and I mean, these were massive trees, but it just ripped them out of the ground like they were nothing. And it was really weird though, because the same month, but I don't know how many days apart, 40 years, just before we moved in there, a tornado came through and tore everything up. But it missed the park, came in just a little bit of a different angle, and 40 years later, it came through again and just. What was really weird, the only house that was completely destroyed was my grandpa and grandma's old house. It's gone now. So it tore it up so bad it wasn't worth fixing, I guess. Now it's just an empty lot. But that was the only house that's gone. They fixed all the other ones, but.
Oh man, that's sad.
Yeah, I went by there and I'm like, oh shit. I knew, I went by there after it happened. I knew it was tore up pretty bad, but it was one of the oldest houses in the neighborhood, and kind of a farmhouse. It's not really a farmhouse, but it backed up at one time to what was Farmers Fields, but it's not like you think of a big farmhouse. It was just a little 1-bedroom house that they lived in, and when they retired, they moved there, and but yeah, it's gone. So then it took the apple tree out in the front yard, and
All those memories.
yeah, I remember the apple trees and the pine tree there, and the stuff like that when I was a kid, especially the apple tree. And yeah, it's all gone now. It's like, but all the other trees in the neighborhood are gone too. So
Sometimes when I'm driving from one side of the town to the other and I don't have anything special to cramp my time, I'll drive through the old neighborhood and amazed at how how bigger the trees are, and look at the old house I grew up in and drive around the neighborhood and see where we raced our go-karts down the hills on lawnmower wheels.
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't. There across kitty corner across the street when I went there. It was the same, it was the next day, I guess, or that night of the tornado. But my buddy's garage was just gone. And everything was still setting along the walls where people toolboxes and trash cans and different power washer, lawnmower, tractor. But it just picked the whole garage up and did not move nothing inside the garage. The car was there.
Yep.
And it's like,
Yep.
how did it do that? Just pick the damn thing straight up like it was on jacks or whatever.
Was it a slab, concrete slab that the house was on?
It was the garage, yeah. It was a
garage. Yeah.
But
so they were all still lined up, and the walls and roof were gone. Huh?
Yeah, everything was gone. It's like it seems like it would tipped over the grill, but we're in the driveway and we're like, damn, the grill was still standing on its two little wheels and and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
And they never found the garage. It took it someplace in a lot of pieces or something, and once it got it up in the air, must have ripped it all apart and deposited.
Either that or it fell on some little old lady with ruby slippers or something.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
That's it.
Or a pretty young girl with ruby slippers.
Well, she got the slippers after the ugly old lady did. But oh well.
Yeah, it's crazy how some of that that weather. You see the tornadoes go through or these hurricanes, and here's a house that sits there. It looks okay, and everything around it is just gone.
We got somebody from Kansas, I think. Jack Snavely, aren't you from Kansas, out there where the Wizard of Oz ostensibly happened?
That was Doug.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Jack lives in Kansas, though, I think.
Yeah, Doug hasn't been on in a long time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's still on Cox Engine for him all the time.
Oh, okay. So, Tryon, you been doing any flying or?
I went flying when Saturday, and it was supposed like a stunt heaven kind of conditions, but because I was surrounded by trees, thermals everywhere, and I had no freaking clue of what was happening over there. I was kind of like, what in the world, I tried to climb above the trees and fly over there, try to feel the line tension, kind of figure out the general idea where it was, but the plane is behaving quite interestingly in a wind because it takes away line tension downwind and adds line tension upwind to the point it was so even everywhere. Like I just threw my hands in the air. It's like I have no clue what the heck am I doing.
Too bad you don't have a couple of 60-foot tall flagpoles that you could run a ribbon, a streamer up there, so you could see.
Those is the things that the field it's still a bowl, right?
Yeah.
It's down. It has a steep slope. It's a track and field kind of field, right? But on one side you have these huge trees, which are about 40 feet tall or so, and on this side you have this very high slope, at least 15-20 feet, that climb up to a flat plateau where the school buildings are. and they
Let's,
have trees over there, trees on the back side, trees on the front side, kind of open area on the other side of the tree. So the wind, if it comes from over there, tumbles on top of the trees.
yeah, the wind looks like somebody stirred a cup of coffee or something. Just
Oh,
going.
exactly that. Yeah. And on top of that, there was a flag pole with a flag on it, not too far away. When I'm looking at the flag, I was like, okay, I'm gonna look at the flag and see where the wind is coming from. And the son of a bitch was down all the time. Nothing. Not even a slight breeze, and I'm going like, what is going on? I'm flying through my own turbulence. It's shaking all over the place. I was like, I just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna do some other things. So
That's
just
like we
Good
went
day to mow the
to
lawn. So
Jackson. There were Vince Bodie flies, and we usually fly at one end. And something was going on. We had to fly at the other end of the field. And Gary Lutz was flying, and he went to his wing over, and it's in an old dump. And it, like you said, the big ass high hills at that one end where we were at,
Mhm.
got a gust of wind, and he came. No, it was a wing over. It was the overhead 8.
Mhm.
And he came around there, and that wind hit that airplane and just went straight down. Wham!
Oh
Just
no!
blew it apart.
Ooh, ooh. I had a little incident too, because I'm taking off. I'm doing this nice takeoff, and I was just nice flat, low to the ground, just slipping off the ground, and all of a sudden the plane is just being like, oof, like it's pushing it down. I'm hitting they have like I was off the paved track and field area where I'm taking off, and I'm over the grass, and the plane is being pushed down, touches down, the prop hits the ground, the motor stops instantly, right?
Yeah.
And luckily the ESC sensed the extra, effort over there. Didn't break the prop, didn't do anything. It just the motor just stopped. I flew the rest 3/4 of a lap, with whatever energy I had left over, stalling just before the landing point. So I just brought it all the way around to my start point. Pulled the plane off the side of the grass back onto the tarmac where I'm taking off. I inspected the engine. The prop was still tight. I thought it would come loose, but it did not. So I reset my timer. I pushed the push the on button and went to fly again. and,
yeah, we had,
Yeah,
and of course the sun was exactly where the downwind was.
of course.
yeah. Jackson Hadley confirms. Yeah, he's in north central Kansas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's in Tornado Alley big time.
I thought he was not in Kansas anymore, but oh well, might be wrong.
You just wanted to say that, didn't you?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Way to go, Trian. Yeah, you guys are talking about weather. This happened, I mean, very long time ago, way back in the 1960s. My dad was hosting a stunt contest in Detroit, a place called Rouge Park. This place is basically a floodplain next to the Rouge River, big trees and everything like that. We had basically one good direction for the wind, and almost anything else would wipe you out. And so one of the flyers there, Steve Woolley, you may have heard of him, the
Oh, yeah.
old time, the Argus, the Cobra, stuff like that. He's up to put a flight. And Steve was the coolest guy around. I mean, just absolute serious. And he drove a Ferrari. I mean, what could be cooler than that, right?
Mhm.
Well, he goes to set up to take off, and he always used to take little strips of tissue paper. He'd have them in his pocket. And before he'd take off, he'd take the paper and he'd let it go, see which way the wind was going. He took the paper out and he let it go, and it went straight up.
Yeah. Oh, there's the
And
fun.
he kind of looked at it. He did another one, let it go, and it went straight up again. He shook his head and waved his airplane off and started flying his flight. But Trian, that sounds like exactly what you were flying in.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like that because
in
it
a
was.
automobile crash racing or something.
Yeah, he died in a car. He was also a I want to say it was a Formula Ford or something like that. He used to race sports cars, SCCA, sports car stuff. And he got himself a ride in an open wheel car, and he was killed in a crash in one of those. So
Yeah,
he was
I was
still a young man, a real loss. But he was
yeah.
doing what he wanted to be doing too. So I mean, I
Yeah.
guess you got to factor that in too. So
Well, they said that him and Billy used to have some big battles flying and everything else, with their designs and
mm-hmm.
how well they could fly and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We
Yeah,
had a
they're real
similar
competitive.
discussion last time around, I think Friday, about somebody who also passed away. One of Mike Lonke's friends, and I was thinking about it, and I said there are people that go through life, and there are people that live life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so some of their experiences, even at young age, they are far more they live more life than many of us combined,
Yeah,
perhaps. And I said, if there was a way to go out like that, I said, hey, I live life, I enjoyed it, and I did what I loved, dying and doing what you love at a
Mm-hmm.
time, a good way to go, in my opinion. But
yeah, I agree.
it's
I
it's
mean,
sad. It's
these
sad, yeah. But
today. I mean, how old is that expression? Carpe diem.
yeah,
Seize the day.
I
And a
was
lot of people don't take the time to do that or realize how much better it makes you feel when you did get up that day and
Mm-hmm.
seize the opportunities that were in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I
That's
was
all
with
you
a
can
friend
hope
of
for.
mine, and he had a two-seater Zlin aerobatic plane, and
Mm-hmm.
he took me up in a plane, and we flew it, and he let me do a roll with the plane and a loop, and I flew it inverted a little bit, just have fun with it, and then he said, "You want to do a river run?" So I said, "Yeah, let's do a river run." So we went towards a power plant over there, and we dropped down on top of the river, and this thing just moves. It's doing about 150 knots or something like that in the river bay, and the trees are up here, and we are down here over the
Wow.
river, having a blast, right? And I said, and after that I said, man, this is what means to be alive
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
living life. And if you do that and you live life and something happens, oh well, you probably lived more than everybody else combined around you. So
Yeah.
so I said I wouldn't regret it for a minute. No way. So
Mm-hmm.
that's that. It's better than being old and just uh, I
old
don't
Yeah,
and
know,
wish.
just of old Alzheimer's surviving, or you know some kind of a silly way to finish your
yeah.
whatever you
Mm-hmm.
have left.
Gary Sinclair says that Steve was in his club. Who who are we talking about?
Steve Woolley.
Steve Woolley.
Yeah. Gary said Steve was in his club.
Gary, were you down in the Marietta, Ohio area, or was that that's where Steve I think ended up? But I don't know if he was always there. Somehow I always associated him with Cleveland. So Gary, did you hear that? It's kind of running on.
Mm. Charles, I want to see your sketches.
Yeah, I haven't done too many more sketches since last time. I've been busy on this plane. I have the fuse here, but I have the plywood doublers and the clutch and the crutch engine crutch in the fuse jig. It's kind of out of sight now. Yeah,
I want to see sketches next time. No
yeah.
excuses.
You know what? I'll work on some sketches. I will.
Wait a minute. Are you giving him homework?
Yes.
Yeah, I need to do it anyways. I need to figure out
Oh, jeez.
my paint scheme.
He gets an F today
I got an F. Yeah.
on an effort.
And then
F.
when I finally do it, I get half credit, right?
If all else fails, copy off the box.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know how many. Cripe, I kept a bunch of them. I don't even want to guess at how many stunt models I have sketched. outlines, fuselage shapes, things like that. I don't even want to guess. It would be in the tens of thousands, I'm sure. I mean,
Wow.
just sit there with a pad of paper, and it just starts, just start drawing something, and no, that's not right, and I draw something like it, and no, that's not right, and keep going, and stuff. Most of them, of course, they went right into the trash and stuff. But it was one of my pastimes there in high school, or really middle school, high school, even in college. I'd have a odd moment to myself and stuff, and I'd be just sketching away. So
My mom
I
was
don't
saying
know.
that I would come home with a. My mom said that I would come home with a homework or stuff that we were doing in school, whatever, math or literature, whatever the class was, and I would have planes drawn corners of
Yeah.
the paper.
Yep.
Planes all
Yep.
around
Yep.
it. Your homework done, but you had planes all the way around it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I never drew it on the homework because I didn't want to lose the sketch. So, turn in the paper. I didn't want to lose the sketch. But, it might turn out good, and I'd want to build something. But
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
what I'm doing, I'm trying to actually come up with a color scheme. So I made a copy of the plane on an 8.5 sheet of paper, and I'm just drawing on that, different colors, different lines. Trying
Using
to find.
colored pencils.
Yeah, I got the some color pencils and pretty neat. But I haven't drawn in over a week.
Hmm. It's gonna look good. I'm pretty sure of that. Whatever you
Yeah, I think
come up with.
it's good.
Man, I'm running out of gas tonight. How you guys feeling?
It's about midnight. It's like everything. I don't know what's left to talk about, but I don't have an awful lot left to say. I appreciate the fact that you're here, and I know you're not feeling 100%, and I appreciate the heck out of you being here and leading us on with all of this. So,
Appreciate that I'm more back into the show tonight, probably, than I have been
hmm
um, in a long time. Watching the goings on over on YouTube and squashing messages that come in that we don't want to go public and participating in the conversations too. I was
Hmm.
for a while there. I was just kind of mailing my performances in, but I don't like doing that. Um, Need to get back to coming up with some material to talk about at the beginnings of the show when there's nobody here to talk to. So I
Hmm.
used to be pretty good at that. So I'll gradually work back into it. But
They get
Yeah.
that infection under control.
no, I'm going to find out if I have or have not tomorrow.
Okay.
I was talking to Mark McKinney today, and we are just sharing about our flying experience with our planes, anyways. And he came up with a new flying class idea, and the new flying class idea would be ARFs only.
They have those. We used to have an ARF off out here in California,
You
and
did?
yeah,
hmm
it's called ARF off, and you could pick your favorite ARF and come out and fly. And it seemed like I remember correctly, the most coveted ARF was the Vector.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not surprised. Orientals too.
Yeah.
Bunch of ARFs that were really popular. I've only had a couple of them. I had an Oriental and a Nobler, which came from a box of pieces, but it was still an ARF. And that's about it as far as my ARFs go. I
Hmm.
got I got plenty of kit planes though.
Yeah, and Randy Smith and I think Brodak sells a lot of ARFs. So the question is, where are they going? And there must be a lot of people with ARFs flying God knows where, right? So if you had a competition that has
Yeah.
ARF only, it might encourage them to, show up and have some fun.
Mhm.
hmm
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So
I've
that's
flown quite a few ARCs the last several years. I flew a top flight score. I've flown the, of course, a couple Stregas,
mm,
about 3 Noblers. I've flown the P40R, the
yeah.
Oriental R.
I flew the Score too, and I didn't. I mean, the Score is like, oh, what a design. I mean, they say it's a 40 size plane, which when it's a 60 size plane, you have
Oh, it's like
enough
a
room.
size.
You have enough room for a fuel tank that's a 4 ounce maybe, because about 4 inches from the rear, from a firewall to the backside, the nose is weak. The way the motor is mounting is like an RC job. I mean, just no ground clearance for a 60
Yeah.
size plane. I had to go to a 3 blade pipe to make it work. I had to go to a clunk fuel tank, a 6 ounce with a clunk fuel tank to have the fuel mileage to go through the pattern. And I couldn't move it any higher than where it was. And the engine one was just really crappy. On one side it was in one way, and the other side was correct. I mean,
Hey,
I was
bring it back
just,
here. I
I
resemble that
mean,
remark.
They
I was
said
like,
they
Yeah.
feel good, but
That's how my score was too.
Yeah, Charles, you didn't mention the only time that you came to Brodak. I launched one of your flights, and you were flying a Tudor that week.
Yeah, that was actually a Tudor 1. Yeah, and that might
Was
have
that a
been
one? That
what?
was a one, the original? I didn't realize
That
that.
was yeah, that was the actual kit, not the ARC. That was
Oh,
John Wright.
okay.
That's John Wright's Tudor, and my first official flight with that plane, I hadn't even practiced. Now, back when
Mhm.
I'm in the center of the circle, I don't know if he was launching it or not, but I couldn't get my hand through the thong, and this is my first official flight. So I'm out there struggling, the motor's running, trying to squeeze that thong over my big hands, and yeah, that was the most exciting flight I've had in a long time. You don't know what to expect,
We
you know.
have a wrap around a finger or something.
Say it again.
he's gone.
Oh,
I
well,
think we
John
lost
Wright
Rusty.
is a tall, slender fellow, and then I'm a short,
Yeah.
stocky fellow.
Mhm.
So our safety thongs weren't quite, compatible with each other. But that was the last thing you think about when you're going to fly a plane is then you get your hand through the thong, right?
Yeah.
Uh, well, hey, if Rusty's out of here, I suppose that's kind of a message. Does that mean we're done?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We
think
have
I
to see
am.
you guys next Friday.
Yeah, we'll catch. Yeah,
I'll
we'll save
say,
some for. Yeah, save some for Friday, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
All
take
right,
care,
Dennis.
everybody. We'll see you later,
I'll
guys.
send
All right, you guys take care. I'll see you next time.
You
Gotcha.
guys behave.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
All right, goodbye.
Yeah, sure.